Hello everyone, welcome to Rob's Rogues, and today we're taking a look at the Justice League DC Comics Hawkman, and the first official video that is with the all-new background, so hopefully you guys are enjoying this. I think it brightened it up a little bit, and being a Robin fan, I kind of wanted to give that little red flare into the channel. I believe the last figure I viewed from this wave was Zatanna, and I wasn't planning on picking up Constantine from this wave, but I made mention that there was not a lot written as far as the description went, and even I had pointed out that the New 52 was missing from Zatanna on her description of the box. It didn't say the New 52 DC Comics Hawkman. We just recently heard through DC Comics that they are taking away the New 52 tag on the comics. They will just now be known as DC Comics. The Convergence story that's going to be starting here right around March into April, May, and June, after coming out of the Convergence storyline where all of the universes are kind of together, they're doing away with the New 52 just in name only. So the continuity of a lot of those characters are going to stay exactly the same. There may be some tweaks that are going to happen because of Convergence, but we won't know that officially. But neither here nor there, this was a figure that they showed at a toy fair. Man, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago. If it's probably been about that long, and it was just done in like a almost modeling clay, or just in the early sculpting stages. And I think a lot of people were wondering, wow, they're going to be doing a Hawkman figure. And a couple years went by, and we didn't hear any news of Hawkman coming out. So it wasn't until midway through 2014 that we finally got this guy released, and I just picked him up a couple days ago myself. And this was one I was really wanting to add to my collection, and was hoping that they were going to make a Hawkman figure. I really like the way Hawkman looks in the New 52, and it was always a favorite character of mine. I really kind of fell in love with the Hawkman character during the Superpowers cartoon series. Now, as much as I like the character, I didn't buy too many Hawkman comic books, but if I bought a Justice League comic that had Hawkman in it, I really liked seeing him in the pages of the comics. I have bought a few comics in the New 52 with Hawkman in them, and I like him a lot in there, but I didn't care for the writer that was writing the books at the time. But I really like him in Justice League Unlimited. It's been a favorite of mine, and seeing Hawkman in there alongside of Martian Manhunter and Green Arrow has been really fun. You can see the green peel back here. We can actually make out the silhouette of Wonder Woman there. Here's the silhouette of Hawkman. Some of these silhouettes are really pretty good, and others are kind of so. I think Hawkman's kind of falls under the so stage. We could see the product shot here, sculpted by Jack Matthews, and I think I've pointed out before that a lot of my favorite figures are ones that Jack Matthews has sculpted. I think he's done some fantastic work. The other figures that came in this wave, and Stargirl was one I forgot I did pick up, was Stargirl, Zatanna, which I reviewed also, both these two, and Constantine, which I'm not a real big fan of Constantine, so I'm not going to buy him. And as you can see, there is no write-up whatsoever for this line, so I didn't know if this was because we're getting into the transition phase, getting out of the New 52 into just normal DC Comics again. So we'll see. But there again, it could have said something about Justice League Unlimited, but I think I said during Stargirl's review that maybe the Justice League Unlimited was not quite out yet when this went into production. So getting all that out of the way, let's take a look at this guy. He looks massive in this package, and it's going to be really cool to set him up with some other Justice League United members. So we will be right back. Now, I don't do this too often, show you the inside part of the carton, but they have the Hawkman logo in here. How cool is that? So it would have been kind of cool if they would have put the logo for each of the characters from the comics, but they didn't. But this is pretty cool. Since there probably wasn't a Justice League United logo at the time, they threw in Hawkman's logo, so Very cool. If you watch The Big Bang Theory, you see Sheldon wear a Hawkman shirt quite a bit. So, all right, again, I don't show too much of the packaging, but I did kind of want to show this just to maybe show you a couple things to kind of look out for if you are getting one yourself. There are 2 clamshell packages here. I've already cut the tape, but it does slip apart, much like Red Robin. Now, as I'm saying that, no, it looks like his wings are in there, are attached. I didn't think that they were at first. I thought it was going to be like Red Robin's. No, so they are attached. So I guess I was thinking it was going to be like Red Robin's where they would be separate and you would have to put them in. But I thought I was going to have to do some extra cutting to get him out. But as you can see, this is going to be the hard spot. There is the end of the plastic. I don't know if you can see this right here. So I don't know how you would get these wings out of this package if they come off somehow. I'm not going to monkey with it right now, but there's only a small opening to be able to get him out from this package. So I'll probably have to cut a lot of this away. But I just kind of wanted to show you that real quick so you don't try and hurt the figure as you're trying to pull this guy out. I'll be right back and I'll let you kind of know how it was to get this out. You can kind of see the package here. I don't know how they got the wings in and out of this little slit, but I had to cut the package right in half to be able to slide him up. But we don't care about that. We care about this guy. Wow, what an amazing figure. This came out in 2014, and I tell you right now, as much as I love the Tim Drake Red Robin action figure, this guy would have been my #1 figure. Absolutely amazing. The detailing on this guy, the sculpting, everything about this figure from head to toe. This is a fantastic, fantastic figure. I cannot say enough good things about this Hawkman action figure. Wow. Speechless. I can't even think of anything to say, so I'm catching my breath here. No, this is just a really, really good figure. I just want to zoom in on this face. I love the face on this Hawkman figure. I like how the eyes are kind of blacked out, and you see the whites of his eyes. I just think are the pupils. They're reverse, I guess, basically, as it were. Very cool. Yes, Hawkman does have nipples, but they don't look out of proportion. Somebody says, you know, are they going to sculpt the nipples on the Hawkman figure? It's done rather well. He does have a belly button, but I mean, he looks really, really good. I'm not trying to make light of that, of the sculpting that's here. I mean, this is how Hawkman is supposed to look, but just an amazingly detailed and well sculpted figure. The look of the feathers are really, wings are trying to cast all kinds of extra shadows here. But just look at the detailing work in here. Let me back out just a little bit more. I'm in awe of this figure. I'm telling you right now, I don't say it too often. If you've been on the fence about, well, I'm not really a big Hawkman fan, I'm telling you, this is going to look absolutely fantastic on your shelf. Top notch all the way down. You know, this is one of those ones you see in the package and you go, oh yeah, it looks pretty good, but getting it in hand, Jack Matthews just did a phenomenal, killer job on this guy. Comes with 2 accessories here. Let's go through some of this really quick here. I would say really quick. I may make this a half-hour video. I'm going to try not to. Set Hawkman down here. Pardon me. Comes with 2 accessories. He comes with his shield. His nth metal shield. I believe the shield kind of comes out of his nth metal armor. Again, it's a little bit different for the new 52, but one that I'm cool with. Has the extra spikes here. And it's not oversized. If this were Mattel, the shield would be rather large, probably too large for him. But very well detailed also. Some nice little spikes here, which probably should be flared out just a little bit more. His axe and not really a mace, but the axe is detailed very, very well also. Sometimes with accessories, as good as the figure is, sometimes the accessory is not as good, but this is just done rather well. Kudos. I'm just gushing all over this figure. Just a solid figure. Now let's go over the articulation on this guy. As you can tell, there's a lot of moving parts here. His head is on the standard DC Collectibles ball joint. And again, depending on from figure to figure, sometimes the articulation is a little lacking, but he can look down considerably well. And since he's a tall figure, he may be looking down on somebody that could be a little bit smaller, so I like that. Does not look up very well. I think due to the back of his mask or helmet here, it does kind of hit in the back here a little bit, which that's fine. It would have been kind of cool to see him look up just a little bit, but with the overall sculpting on this guy, I will take the not being able to look up. Just fantastic. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that. The arms could go in a full 360. I mean, they do rotate around enough. Let me back this camera out here a little bit too much. Apologize about that. The wings do get in the way of that, but you do have a really good range of motion that I really appreciate. The shoulder piece here does kind of get in the way of the helmet mask portion, so this arm does not quite go up as far. So I guess if I was in battle, I'd get this pointy end right to the face. That would kind of hurt. It does hinge also on its own. I probably had that out of frame. So it does have a moving piece on its own, so if you want to get the arm in some other dynamic poses, like you want to get this arm straight out, you can move this piece back and forth. So that's pretty cool. I don't believe it comes off. No, I don't believe it does. He turns at the bicep here. There is not a waist swivel. Again, I could see how they made the belt here. Even if it was just flattened a little bit, wasn't so high up, I think he could have turned at the waist. I think that would have just made a little bit more dynamic poses. But again, I'm gonna let it slide. The legs are another issue. They do go forward, but it's this weird kind of sweeping, rocking motion. So, I mean, they do have some flexibility here. As you can see, they go out about that far. So we don't go straight forward. Again, it's kind of like that. Sweeping is the only thing I could say. They go back decent enough. There is an upper high boot swivel, and this is the part that I like. It's the single bend at the knee, but the top part of this boot, the spike really kind of hides where the bend at the knee is, and that's just really pretty cool. I mean, that's a deadly spike to get to the chin or the gut. This is another cool part that I wondered. They did not do this in the Mattel version, but these talons, if you will, are on the costume in the new 52. He does have a hinge pivot, and again, this would be a massive kick that would do some serious damage. So this is accurate to the comics. It's such a good detail. But just let me get in here to the detail on the boots. Again, I know I'm not saying much here, but it's just done so very well. One more last piece of articulation are the wings. The wings are articulated. They kind of hinge so you can get them to come back in a more neutral stance if you want to. They are individually posable as well, so they can fold out and almost wrap around him, kind of like that. They do turn in and move out. So I like these wings a lot better than the Mattel version. I'll bring the Mattel up. The Mattel's kind of had that you can move them out a little bit more, so you're not going to get kind of the flight pose with the wings that you could with the Mattel, but I think these DC collectible wings are put together better than the Mattel wings. And I'll let you judge that for yourself. I'm going to make sure I didn't miss. Oh, I missed the wrist gauntlet. The articulation on this guy is kind of hidden pretty good, which I do appreciate tremendously. Wow, just an amazing, amazing figure. I know you're probably getting tired of me saying that, but can I say it again? Amazing. And he stands really well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring up the Mattel version of the new 52 Hawkman. Okay, this Hawkman, the DC Comics Unlimited, almost makes this guy look like he's just a warrior that is part of the Hawk clan, as it were. I really like this figure a lot. If you go clear back to when this guy originally came out, I think 2 years ago now, that I said I really like the figure. And like I said, there's some articulation here in the wings that this one can do that the DC Collectibles doesn't. You can see the back of the wings on this guy as opposed to the DC Collectibles one. But I think definitely the DC Collectibles wins in the sculpting department, hands down. But it's two different companies. I said before, and I'll probably continue to say if we talk about Mattel figures were more of the action figures, the ones that you're going to play in your sandbox, and you know, they're in the price point of anywhere from $9 up to $15 or whatever. You start getting the DC Collectibles, you're getting much better sculpting, and that's really what you're paying for. So yes, they're more statuesque, you know, action figures too, but night and day here between the two, and it's been a while since I've had this guy out from my shelf. He's kind of a back rower. With the size of the wings, he kind of blocks a bunch of other people, but I wanted you to be able to see the two side by side. And here is Hawkman with the Justice League United team that's currently out, the members that DC Collectibles has made: Supergirl, Green Arrow, Hawkman, I about said Starfire, Stargirl, and Martian Manhunter. This has been a really cool series in the new 52, or now just in DC Comics right now. So this has been one I've thoroughly enjoyed, and it's kind of cool to see this team start to see more realized. Or a version of a team that I like to put together now is more of a classic Justice League America team, granted in the new 52 incarnation of that team. But this was a team that I liked to read back into the early 80s when I was reading comics for the very first time. So it's kind of cool that I could put this version of one of my favorite Justice League America teams together. Wow. Final thoughts on this guy. Hands down right now, one of my favorite sculpted figures, and just one of my favorite figures in general. It's going to be real tricky to find out how to get him along with all my other DC collectibles figures that have the Bat Family and the Titans and the Justice League members all together, all on one shelf. I really want to get this guy up close to the front, but his wings are going to block a few other people, so I'm going to have to try to put him up just a little bit higher on my shelf so he can be seen. Such a great figure. Normally I just try and do these reviews and just tell you what I think about him, but very rarely do I say, oh, you have to go out and get this guy. I think this guy is a must for your Justice League collection. It's going to be a figure that you're going to thank me for. If you're kind of on the fence about it, do yourself a favor. He is every bit worth of the $22 to $24 depending on where you pick him up. Just a solid figure, hands down. I love this figure right now. So today we've been taking a look at the DC Collectibles Justice League Hawkman action figure. And as always, this is Rob for Rob's Rogues signing off, saying we will see you guys next time.